everybody, it's Steven, the main developer of Source Sound Player. I'm here with a quick getting started guide for using Source Sound Player and getting used to its features. Let's go ahead and open Source Sound Player. This is version 0.0.7 beta. And as you can see, the interface has been consolidated and is much cleaner than previous versions. So along the top you have a toolbar with all the functions you'll need to use Source Sound Player. The first three are really self-explanatory: new playlist, save playlist, and open playlist. The next we have an add button, an edit button, delete, and preview. Going back to the add button, when you click it, it drops down into a menu where you can either add a single sound, add multiple sounds, or add an entire folder. With shortcuts, asks for shortcuts for each sound that you select. In this case, if I'm adding an entire folder, all of the WAV or MP3 sounds in that folder will be individually displayed asking for a shortcut. If you're just adding like your entire library, do without shortcuts because it'll go a lot faster and you can customize it later on. The next button is edit. If you select a sound and then hit edit, you can change the shortcut and the sound path. Delete does exactly that. It deletes the sound from the playlist, not actually the sound file. And then preview just plays the sound so you know which sound it is. The next button is the enable or disable toggle button. Once you have all your sounds in the playlist, you hit this, which loads all of your sounds into memory so you can hit the shortcuts and load it into the game. The next button is the settings button. And then we have a little information or about window. The next is the playlist name. This, you can type anything here, just let you know which playlist you have loaded. In this case, I just used example. And the next is directory. This is the game directory. You must set this for Source Sound Player to work. I have a full list of game directories on the Source Sound Player community website. In this example, I'm just going to go ahead and load the directory for Team Fortress 2 because I play that a lot. There we go. Now let's add a sound. I'm just going to add a single sound for the purposes of this tutorial. I'm going to browse. I have a music folder. Let's do 10 Cent Pistol. It's a pretty good song. And if you'll notice, this is actually an MP3 file. In this version, I've completely integrated an MP3 converter into each of the sound functions. So if you're adding an entire folder, both waves and MP3s will be added. And same when selecting multiple sounds, you can select both wave and MP3s. Those be converted real fast, and everything's pretty easy. So as you can see, if you do select an MP3, the sound dialog will expand with MP3 conversion options. The first is the volume adjustment. You want to make sure that you adjust the volume. In most cases, you'll want to attenuate by about 15 decibels. This lowers the volume of the MP3 because when it does get converted into wave and then imported into the game will make it loud, really loud. You don't want to hurt anybody's ears. You don't want to make anyone mad at you. So always make sure that you lower the volume. Next is the engine setting. For most cases, just use Source Engine. If you know that the game you're using is a gold Source Engine, which is the original Half-Life, for example, use the gold Source setting. Back up to shortcut, you can just hit any key right here. Most people use the function keys. You can also use modifier keys, which are Shift, Alt, and Control, and any combination of those. And then just hit the key. In this case, I'm just going to use F1. And then hit accept. If it's an MP3, it'll convert and get moved right into here. The last feature that you really need to know about is custom names. If you select and then click on the name, you can actually modify the name right here, which is really handy for just, cleaning up, organizing, make sure you know which sound is which. A lot of cases you can download like sound packs and they'll be numbered. Well, using the preview feature, you can figure out which sound is which and then add its own name. So right now, let's go ahead and save this. believe I have an example. There. And we're ready. So let's go ahead and enable it. And then you can hit the shortcut for the sound. In this case, we only have one sound, so I'm just going to hit that, and you'll get the information pop up, which tells you which sound you just loaded. And from there, you can use the script that you load into the game to play that over the microphone. Again, game directories and the script that you need to play sounds are all on the Source Sound Player community website, which can be accessed through the About dialog. Just go ahead and click that, and you'll be brought right through there. The final functionality of the program, I guess, is the settings. Right now there are only 3 settings, way down from what I had before. The first one is your Steam name. Just go ahead and enter that in the box. This really doesn't do anything right now. I'm working on an automatically finding game directories, so you don't have to manually select them. So just go ahead, you can either leave this blank or enter your Steam name in for now. The last 2 are behavioral. The first one loads the last playlist that you've opened when you start Source Sound Player. So for example, when I close this now, the playlist that I called Example will be automatically opened, so you don't have to worry about going into Open. And then the second is Minimize on Enable. When you enable this, if you want Source Sound Player to just get out of your way and minimize, this setting does that. Both of these are enabled by default. And that's pretty much it, guys. Like I said, once again, game directories and the script that you need to load into your game are both on the Source Sound Player website, which again is bit.ly/SourceSoundPlayer. This is Steven, the main developer, with the Getting Started Guide for Source Sound Player. Have a good one.